you're gonna hold me down. I said, I'm going gray in Tinsel Town.
You're a beast.
There's no way you're gonna hold me down, 'cause I was born to entertain, and
Show
you
them what a
can't
real woman looks
take
like.
that away. I'm going gray all in your face. You can't replace this. It's going down, we're going gray in Tinsel Town.
Well, howdy. I'm Mandy Mae Cheatham, your host of Going Gray in Tinsel Town. Today I have an essay episode for you. And it just so happens that tomorrow is my birthday. Now, the day that you get this podcast will be the day after my birthday, so you can retroactively wish me happy birthday on Instagram at Manda Murhead, MandaMurhead. Now, I'm telling you that because I actually want to hear about the podcast. I want to hear your thoughts, feelings. I want all the external validation you can give me so I feel encouraged to keep going. And lo and behold, this episode is all about external validation and my process with feeling like I am the object, the subject, and the artist of some kind of crazy art experiment I've been doing on myself and sharing with all of you. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to do it anymore, and I've actually taken a bit of a break from writing essays and even doing podcast interviews because I have a lot in the bank. So I think I just needed to be for a little bit, you know? But we'll get a bit deeper to that point into this essay. So, here we go. The title of this essay is Going Gray in Tinsel Town, the subject, the object, and the artist. People keep sending me messages telling me to be positive. One message I got today was a link to an article about how difficult it is to be disciplined with your optimism. I didn't read it. I'm starting to feel disdain for people who tell me to think positive and look on the bright side. It feels manipulative, like something they want me to do so they can feel more comfortable. There are a few people who reach out to me with their messages of positivity. Oh, good. Positivity. Some are practical, but mostly they feel weighted in judgment and fear. Their happiness feels aggressive and judgmental, and I resent it, because ultimately it doesn't feel like they're really listening to what I'm saying or reading what I'm writing. Although I'm expressing my emotions in a public space, I'm not asking to be fixed. I'm exploring this experience of shedding my self-objectification and self-surveillance through social media as I grow out my naturally gray hair. I've turned aging into an experimental art exhibition, happening in real time so you can experience it through me, and I can go back and watch what happened with curiosity to my day's younger self. I'm deep diving into this experience because it is my experience that I cannot change my behavior or attitude just by focusing on a new behavior or attitude. I need to bring that unwanted behavior or attitude into the light where I can look at it and see it for what it really is. In most cases, it's just FEAR, false evidence appearing real. In this case, it is fear coded in the icing of a societal idea of who and what I am and who and what my value is to the world. This is caked, pun intended, my thinking with ideas and philosophies which are not mine. I can't just wish them away or turn towards something else that is more positive. I have to call that shit out for what it is first. Figure out if it even belonged to me in the first place, stand up to it, and then, like the Jabberwocky in Alice in Wonderland and every other well-developed Boolean literature, it will disappear. But I definitely can't try to manage the fear or keep it in check while I'm expressing it, or I won't get a clear shot at it. And based on this weird feedback on Instagram, I'm assuming that what people are seeing looks like someone who needs encouraging messages, a great deal of external validation, and lots of emojis. It's funny that my phone went off while I was doing that. It was, in fact, an Instagram message. The thing is that external validation is what I'm trying to cure myself of. For me, the thing that makes me feel better is just posting. Well, not posting. Posting makes me feel gross. But it feels less gross than feeling lonely. And the external validation makes me feel temporarily connected and provides a sense of intimacy that I don't get so often in my everyday life. I'm definitely triggering people. The biggest thing I've realized through all of this self-surveilling and self-objectifying and posting and looking at likes and messages and detaching and taking breaks and taking 600 selfies to get one and then feeling depressed because it's not a selfie day today because my hair looks like shit is that it is all just fucking predicated on how lonely I am most of the time. My father once said that one of his favorite lines in a country song was, "At the times I felt most alone, someone was sitting right next to me." The person sitting right next to me now is me, but the Instagram version. The process of exploring my aging as an art experiment has me as the subject, the object, and the artist. In this case, the subject is my body, the object is the selfie, and the artist is the one asking all the questions. Part of this exploration means toggling back and forth between these three positions, working on not judging any of them, figuring out where they intersect, and then taking a step out of them and determining how each is growing and changing through all of this. I'm trying to draw a diagram of this and having trouble drawing the subject because maybe the subject isn't my body at all. Maybe the subject is that thing which cannot be defined. Maybe I'm just fruitlessly trying to capture an image that defines my existence, that proves that I was, and that shows me in all forms and feelings that I present in the course of a day. And that is why this process is so thought-provoking and dynamic, because it's unattainable. The selfie is just a moment in the existence of my life. As soon as I see that image, I immediately feel disconnected from it. I know it's not me. It's just some version of me that's now gone, and I tell myself, particularly when the selfie is not so attractive, that the unattractive version is really me. That's the one people who know me IRL see, the one that slips out when they catch a glimpse without me being aware, or holding tension in my face and body to maintain the image I'm trying to uphold. But neither the attractive or the unattractive image is a true representation of me. And if the other theory that I keep exploring is true, that if I focus on the positive external affirmations of my beauty, then I also will be susceptible to being ruled by the negative judgments that other people shit or spew in my direction about how I look, then the positive shit has just as much as an opportunity to be toxic as the negative. I had a guy on the subway approach me yesterday, tell me I was beautiful, ask me to marry him, and then proceed to talk about Vietnam, conspiracy theories, and name-drop JFK and each of his relatives for 7 stops before it actually occurred to him to ask me my name. He was super offended, by the way, that I didn't remember his after he told me 7 times. But I digress. The fact that I even listened to him in the first place is because I am addicted to external validation, and I have been generously allowing people to suck my time and energy in order to get their need for attention met by buttering me up first with a really well-phrased compliment for almost my entire life. I imagine it has a lot to do with the loneliness. What's interesting to me about my relationship with being alone is that it has changed so drastically in the past year. It was actually a non-issue before, except for that whole talking to strangers part. If I wanted male attention, I would call someone to come over and give me some. If I wanted to hang with a friend, I would pick up the phone or invite myself over to their place. But suddenly, amongst all this metamorphosis with my hair, I'm feeling outside of my tribe. I'm questioning my worth as a friend, a lover, and a creative partner because I'm questioning what my worth is. Sidebar, just in case it's not clear at this point in the essay, please don't mistake this as a call for help. I'm calling out these thoughts as a way to replace them with others or to examine them so they can be called out as bullshit, not because I'm hoping you will send me messages telling me I'm beautiful. Thanks. When I first started posting photos of my gray hair journey online, I was so moved by the comments people made on said photos. When people told me I looked beautiful or told me to keep going, I felt like it was such a profound act of love. Now, not so much. Now I feel like they have an agenda. I mean, of course they don't. I mean, maybe some of them do, but a lot of it is just unconscious. Nothing's changed except the fact that I now have an agenda. My new agenda is to get people to listen to my podcast and maybe buy a Gray Curious mug from my artsyfartsypr.com website or a book when I write it. Pretty vague, I know, but underlying that agenda, the commodification of the art, is a very tidy excuse to need external response. Here is my pain for the purposes of getting you to listen to more podcasts and buy a mug so I can eventually get advertisers to help support the time and expense of running the thing, and I need to use Instagram to promote and support it, so I must take selfies, and they must be the kind that people like so that I get more likes and more followers so that they click my profile, and then my hair doesn't look good today, and this always happens with me. I start to do something out of passion, and then I commodify it. And then I resent it, and I don't want to do it anymore. It's a violent form of self-sabotage that I point at my career to try to shut down anything I'm doing because of passion and generosity by starving myself of the ability to make money doing it. And I start keeping score. Today I've been sitting online for several hours trying to buy Burning Man tickets. They're having some sort of technical difficulties, and so it's taking forever. On the page I've been staring at, there's a lot of info on not trying to make money off the tickets by reselling them. It says, "Don't exploit the thing you love." I cried when I read that. What does exploit even mean? Especially to an artist. I once had a teacher that said the reason actors are paid so much is because we're willing to reveal the human experience in ways that regular people just aren't. To reveal in ourselves the darkness, the ugly shit, the shit that we don't admit to in polite company. It's hard to put yourself out there, and as an actor, I get to hide behind a script and unleash my inner demons and claim I was just using my imagination. Imagination is an important part of the work, but fundamentally, I believe, like Stanislavski did, that it is just me in the given circumstances. Life experiencing itself. A few days ago, during my morning meditation from A Course in Miracles, that asked me to understand that this world I see is not real, I asked for answers from the depths as to what that actually means. I like this world, and it feels real to me. But the more I explore the idea and practice of being able to tap into an infinite source of possibilities, I realize just how constructed the constructs of my life are. Like, how much I'm just making this shit up as I go along. One of my favorite things about the entertainment industry is that it is a bunch of people creating their own versions of paradise out of a flashing light show. We literally create worlds out of light that are visible and disappearing from moment to moment. During my meditation, the idea that came to me was that the process of creating and filming a movie is the same thing I am doing as I create and experience my life. I had a vision of myself on the set of a movie I'd written and was directing and starring in. In the scene we were filming in my meditation, I was crying. It was deeply moving, and everyone in the room was captivated, present, and affected. I felt completely elated at what I had created, and at the same time felt the deep sadness of the character and the broader remembrance of the universal experience of life at its most painful. This is what I strive for. I am creating a life where I get to experience the fullness of being alive, and where I can also be the observer who watches myself in my life having experiences. When I don't judge the bad experiences, I realize that underlying those experiences is a great deal of joy at just being alive to experience it in the first place. Just like there's a great deal of joy when I'm on set getting to make a movie I wrote, am directing, and starring in, even when we're over time, over budget, my feet hurt, and the caterer's stuck in traffic. This is what I strive for. To be experiencing myself, experiencing my life. It just so happens that social media gives me a real-time way to do this. I can observe myself, observing myself. And the beauty of this, the great beauty of this, is that I can choose to be brave enough to experience myself in all my fullness, and that includes all of the emotions as they are, in the moment I feel inspired to share them. Fear of and repression of my emotional life does not serve me or the world. It's dishonest, and it's kind of missing the point. If you happen to be an emoji center, know this. I feel your pain. I know you are not trying to shut me up, but I would ask you to explore if it is your pain you don't want to feel. And I would urge you, if it is your pain, to just allow it. It will feel really big at first, but with practice and a sense of humor, as you step into the role of the observer of you in your own life, you may just start to see the joy underlying it all. The real joy, not the emoji kind. Now, I want to share one more thing. I don't know, I think I got a little bit excited by being able to share a poem with you guys the last episode. So I tried to write a poem about this essay and it didn't work. So I went back and looked at some other poems I wrote, and I found this one from 2017. It's called Anonymous. Are you so afraid to write that you hide from inspiration? Afraid the page will remain hidden in some digital file that no one will have the password to unlock, so you bother not? Or the wrong eyes will lie upon it and dismiss it as schlock? Or it will be buried amongst your 20 years of dithering? So much dithering that even you won't want to read through it to find the grains of God. The parts where your star filter was off and or you were too tired to fight and just let the words of the one move through you. Those fleeting combinations of letters that you so crave, yet that elude you. Because you stick a spade in your heart each time it feels with the passion of verse or song. Why can't you allow yourself to belong? You restrict the flow, choke yourself with deprivation, no light, no nourishment, so you may not have to face your light, feel encouragement, that your purpose is clear. You hate yourself for your brilliance, because you fear they will hate you even more. Above all, you must be persecuted, blind to the salutes. You will have your way, you will have your way, you will have your way, if you have to kill yourself to do it. What right have you to shine so bright? From where does this hatred stem? Killing yourself from the inside. What is this life? This is your game. Playing the victim to your own persecution, punishing all for their adoration, only happy when you can sit behind a mask that gives you absolution from self. This too shall pass, like a menstrual shit, leaving you elated and full of piss and vinegar again, entitled to joy and sex and throngs of men. The intentions of men. In your arrogance you shall shove your work on the world once again, and wait for them to fall at your feet, and listen not when they praise your pen. Just wonder why they don't adore the size of your feet. You can pretend all you want that it is the mask that you seek. Oh, Gemini child, our secret I will keep, as long as you promise to record your dreams après sleep. I don't know what the fuck that meant, but when I read it, it sort of reminded me of some of the things I was talking about in this podcast. In any case, thanks for listening. I'm excited for next week. I got a great interview with Katie from Katie Goes Platinum. Tomorrow's my birthday. I hope you love the podcast as much as I'm enjoying imagining that you are. Hope to hear from you soon. I need the validation. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Get it to tell me otherwise. gray in Tinsel Town.